G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome back to War Thunder Ground Forces. Today we're going a little bit higher, we're going in for rank 4, and welcome aboard the A39 Tortoise. This battle rating 6.7 British tank destroyer is armed with a 94mm 32-pounder OQF cannon with 60 shots at maximum, and two 7.92mm BESA machine guns with 6,750 rounds total. Now you've seen this thing on my channel before. It is extremely heavily armoured, taking an absolute pounding in combat. 170mm of frontal hull armour, the mantlet is 203mm thick, with the sides of the hull, both in the gun mounting section and the main hull, being 152mm thick. The rear armour around the engine is 100mm thick, with the back section going across the crew compartment at 110. Now for ammunition choices on this tank, you really only have two. You've got Shot 1, which is APC BC, with 239mm of penetration at 100 metres, or out to 212mm of penetration at 1000 metres, and you've got a HE shell, which I largely find useless. Now as for in this particular battle, why am I carrying 40 shots total when I rolled into this battle? I was screwing around with the tank in a custom battle, and I actually forgot to reset the ammunition before going in, which was unfortunate. Now we're on single cap Tunisia. The A cap is in the centre of the town, and at this point it is controlled heavily by German forces. We've already taken out a Tiger, we've managed to put shots into a Tiger 2, there is a second Tiger 2 that is engaging me at the moment, and a Panther 2 that I've just realised is on the ridge line. And unfortunately, I cannot quite get my guns on him. And while the Tortoise is an incredibly durable machine, these guys know where to shoot and have guns capable of penetrating that armour. So while I can put a little bit of hurt on them, all I'm really doing at the moment is preventing a breakout from these tanks actually pushing in towards our cap circle while my forces regroup, and in the end I'm going to die for it. And there it is. But it doesn't matter, because the Tortoise just did exactly what I put it into my lineup for. So, despite our small time in this battle, let's bring out the next tank. And so it's time for the star of the show, the Centurion Mk.3, rank 4, battle rating 6.3. This tank is armed with an 84mm 20-pounder cannon with 65 rounds of ammunition, and a 7.92mm machine gun with 3,600 rounds of ammunition, 13 degrees per second turret rotation speed with a vertical guidance of negative 10 degrees depression plus 20 degrees elevation, and a reload time of 7.8 seconds. 76mm of hull armour on the front, 50mm on the sides and 38 to the rear, with turret armour of 152 at the front, 89 on the sides and 89 in the rear. And I really enjoy this thing's gun. The main shot I use is Shot Mk.3. This is APDS, or Armour Piercing Discarding Sabot. At 100 metres it gets 283mm of penetration, 262mm at 500 metres, and 239 at 1000 metres. But the big selling point of this as well is not just some fantastic penetration, but 1,430 metres per second muzzle velocity. This thing is a laser cannon. Now APDS of course does come with a small collection of problems. There is no explosive filler in an APDS round, so it lacks the alpha strike capability of say some of the larger German and Russian guns with high levels of HE filler within the shell. But if you're looking to accurately penetrate a specific point in a tank in order to disable components, and you don't mind shooting targets multiple times in order to destroy them, which as I said before isn't actually a problem with the 7-second reload time on this tank, it is a fantastic sheller for a fantastic gun. And this is precisely what I've done here. My first shots before, 2 shots into the turret, disabled the Panther's gun, 1 shot into the engine to immobilise it and set it on fire, and then line up the centre mass of the tank, and we execute. Now as you can see at the bottom of the screen, I do carry 10 rounds of Shot Mk.1 on board. Shot Mk.1 is an APC BC shell, 215mm of penetration at 100 metres out to 189mm of penetration at 1000 metres, so the penetration value is a little bit lower than the Shot Mk.3, and it's a little bit slower in terms of velocity at only 1019 metres per second. But it does have a significantly higher chance to fragment, which makes it much more useful in close quarters combat, when I remember to load it in. And we've just spotted a Tiger down that alley. Now, my first thought was to go and engage the Tiger, and in hindsight now I probably should have, because I missed an opportunity there. But I thought at the time it was probably a better option to go around and just quickly check what was coming around the back path before I move in to engage in the town, as this path is popular for forces flanking from the north spawn. However, there was nobody coming around the path, just a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun crossing the bridge and heading towards the centre of town. I fire a shot off at it, get way too low. Doesn't really matter, I want to go to the meaty targets in the centre of the town, so I just turn away and head in this direction. He's heading for the cap circle and I'm heading for the cap circle in this direction, so I'll run into him there. Now the tiger I spotted before is gone, he's in fact already dead, and I really do think that if I'd chosen to turn in and engage the tiger straight away, I could have picked up an extra kill on top of what I'd already get in this match. So I cost myself a kill by checking my flanks. Although I suppose it wasn't necessarily a silly move. But there was more here than just the tiger, thankfully. Now, the self-propelled anti-aircraft gun hasn't made yet, and I'm just checking for it, and that's when I spot the next target. We have a Panther 2. Now, my original thought was to try and flank it, but he seems intent to drive out in front of my gun, so I'm quite happy to let him do that. One shot straight into the side. And of course, he turns himself right back around, drives back in front of the gun, so we put another one through and we execute him. And that's eye for an eye. He was the one who killed my HoTaS at the start of the match. So I've gotten my revenge there, and I am now in a position to hold the cap circle. Now the fact that I'm capping tells me there's no enemies in my immediate vicinity, however it is worth keeping an eye out on exactly what's going on, and there goes the tail end of our self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. So I missed the shot as he was driving past, but I try and get cheeky here, put one shot into the building to see if I can hit him. No luck. But we do get an ID on him. He is a Kurgelblitz. Unfortunately, being cheeky there meant I was in the middle of the reload as he passed by, otherwise I possibly could have killed him. But while this did cost me the chance at another potential kill, I'm not overly concerned about him. Driving around the south side of that building, he has exposed himself to two of my allies that are guarding the south side of the cap circle. So he's got a lot going on his plate at the moment. Now I am still keeping the gun to the left on the chance that he tries to flank me, but that does leave me open to the right hand side. Thankfully the target coming from the right is only an Ostwind. While the Ostwind's 37mm cannons are quite capable of taking the tracks on the tank, as this one has done, with only 65mm of penetration at 10 meters, that is all it can do. From this angle it is incapable of penetrating either the turret or the hull of my tank. And in fact is incapable of penetrating the front of the Centurion Mk.3 frontally, even when it's not angled. So, 6 seconds until we've managed to screw our tracks back onto our tank, and the A-cap is now captured. And at this point we are going to go look for him, but first we need to back off because I'm getting a little splash from the artillery strike that I just dropped. I dropped that just on the corner of the building to the center of the cap circle, probably a little bit closer to my side, on the off chance that the Kurgelblitz that we spotted before decided to come around the side while I was unable to maneuver. Just a little something to convince him not to do that. And now the artillery strike has cleared, let's go see if we can find the little bastard. Now, he shot back down the street to our right-hand side. That one leads directly back to the bridge that anybody from the north spawn point has to cross in order to come through, and the direct path into the town. Now, at this point, you'll see I'm set up so my second shell load will actually be the APCBC shell rather than a second load of the APDS. The APDS has a high chance to ricochet off angled surfaces, and it has a tendency to overpen at this sort of a range against something quite so lightly armoured. So, first shot, as I said, it ricochets, we face grind against the Ostwind. Second round goes in, basically shuts down the tank, fire the machine gun just to keep the gunners down and do a little bit of additional damage. One more shot through the hull, it's now on fire and burning, keep firing the machine gun at it while we're reloading, because more hits is good, and one more shot and that executes it. I honestly should probably keep a single round or two of HE on board for dealing with those, but it's really not much of an issue. Well, that and the HE on the Centurion Mk.3's 84mm gun is so weak that the HE round isn't even a guaranteed kill when you shoot something like an Ostwind in the face. A lot of the time it'll do some damage, but no more than you would get out of the APCBC shell. So anyways, at this point we are now heading north, and we are going to go and see if we can intercept any targets heading into the town, as the town is currently secure. And we have an explosion off to our left-hand side. Now that was a Centurion Mk.3 that was taken out by a Panther. I made the assumption at the time that the Panther must still be in the north, coming from the middle spawn point. I actually should have paid a lot more attention to that than I did. But it doesn't matter, we have another target. And it's another Ostwind. I get why these things are so popular at lower tiers, but I'm still not entirely sure why people bring them into battle rating 6+ matches. Anyways, I take a shot to the right hand side from the perishing. I drove out in front of its gun. That was my mistake, not his. Doesn't matter, second round into the Ostwind, take it out, and that's my 5th kill. The Perishing is continuing to head north towards the enemy's cap point. I'm actually not going to. I've been paying attention to what's going on in the cap circle down the bottom. As soon as I've got the track screwed back onto my tank again, I'm turning this thing around and heading back to the cap point. There is a hostile tank inside of the cap at the moment that is cleaning out our defenders, and at the moment nobody's in the town to defend A once he starts capping. And yes, it is the Panther that wiped out the Centurion Mk.3 before. Of course, by the time I arrive back in the cap circle, an ISU 122 that I was randomly squatted with is already back in position, and he's got the Panther pinned down. Takes out the building, we both fire at the same time, his shell lands first. Unfortunately, don't even get an assist on that one, but that is the Panther down, and that is the last person that is going to stop us from winning this match. From this point, we just park in the cap circle, decap and recap, and wait around for the points to finally run out. So that was the end of the match. Let's flick through to the results screen. So the results for the match. We come in first place with 2,888 points, 5 kills, 2 assists, 2 base captures and 1 death in the Tortoise. We get Supporting Fire, Eye for an Eye, Shadow Strike Streak X3, Tank Rescuer, Professional X5, Teamwork, Base Capture Streak X2 and the Best Squad, 29,060 Silver Lions with 2,715 Vehicle Research points and 2,105 Modification Research points with no premium account. With the premium account, this would have been a 45,555 Silver Lion match with 4,410 research points. So overall, a pretty reasonable match. I really do like the Centurion Mk.3, and I absolutely love my Tortoise. Unfortunately, I didn't do quite so well in it. The Tortoise, however, is always worth bringing out for this kind of a lineup. It takes so many hits to actually take the thing down that simply having a Tortoise in battle and engaging in combat, even if it gets destroyed, will generally earn so many respawn points off of the ricochets, the bounces, and the hits that you take, that after it's destroyed, even if you only get 1 or 2 kills in it, it will have earned so many points that it will fund both your second tank deployment and your aircraft deployment following that. And the Centurion Mk.3 is just a fantastic little tank. It's got great turret traverse, great hull traverse, it's reasonably fast and mobile forward, it's reasonably well armoured for its size and weight, it's got a great little gun, and it has access to the fantastic APDS rounds. The only downside of the whole tank is it doesn't carry a good armour-piercing high explosive shell. But to be fair, that is a weakness that pretty much all of the British tanks share. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below should you wish to. And don't forget to leave a like if you do, and to subscribe if you haven't already and you'd like to see more. Until next time, drive smart, drive safe, and I will catch you on the battlefield.